Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for our ongoing coverage of CMA Industry Week here on day 5. It's Friday, TGIF. These next 2 hours are going to be exciting, so strap in. We got a lot to get our learn on with. Our guest, of course, is Pioneer Electronics. We'll be showcasing Pioneer Electronics in 2 segments, starting with this one. And let's get our learn on. First up, we have our guest from Pioneer Electronics in Canada, our senior sales manager, good friend, Mr. Robert Money. Good morning, Robert.
Hi, everyone.
Are you ready to get our learn on? Because I know you guys have prepared one heck of a presentation, and we got a lot to cover.
Yes, we did our best to provide the best content for Canadian dealers, of course. And we have nice help from our US team partner, Harry.
Well, Harry Knoll is no stranger to the training circle. Of course, he's the national product trainer for Pioneer, and we are happy to have him with us today. Let's bring Harry on. Good morning, Mr. Knoll. How are you?
Ben. My name is Kroll, Ben, K-R-O-L-L, but that's
Kroll.
okay. Chuck Knoll was a great football coach in Pittsburgh. I'm coming to you live from Pittsburgh, and thanks very much for inviting us to be on the show.
Well, you're no stranger to training circles. We've seen your videos, and there are many on YouTube, of course. This one's a little bit different experience because we're going live with this, and we're hoping that you can obviously help us on our journey through everything that Pioneer has to offer this season.
Well, this is what I do. So if I can't help you, I don't know how much help you're going to need. So we can do it. I've been with Pioneer for more than 30 years. I'll go out on a limb and say some of the people who are watching right now, I've been collecting a paycheck and working in Pioneer products since before you were born. So does that mean I know everything there is to know? Far from it. Okay. But it does mean that I've got a lot of experience and I know a lot of the ins and outs and what have yous with Pioneer products.
Well, we are very fortunate to have you on board. And Robert, don't sink in your chair because you're no slouch either. You know your stuff, man. Our Canadian dealers know who you are. We're happy to have you with us as well. This is a great dynamic trio.
You sure about that?
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Okay. That's why I bring Harry.
Perfect. Let's get this show started. We got an intro video we want to go to right away. We'll come back and dialogue about what we're about to see.
2030. The connected car, the future of evolved mobility, a future without the stress of travel, a future where moving from one place to another is enjoyable. There will be no traffic jams, no accidents. Packages will be transported along the most efficient route. The information we want will be ours at the perfect time. Pioneer will know what you feel as you travel, what you want, and where you'll want to go. It will have the solutions that people, companies, and the world will need for a better future. In 2030, one company will be the key to a sustainable society of evolved mobility. That company is Pioneer.
We are already taking actions. As the world shifts to a new normal, people's values and lifestyles are radically changing. We know we can respond to these changes and new issues faster than anyone. For this, we are launching and accelerating our transformation.
Through its transformation, Pioneer aims to become a solutions company by fusing innovative, cutting-edge products with data from a variety of mobility devices. Pioneer will offer solutions that will revolutionize a society of evolved mobility.
Our solutions will enrich the future and make tomorrow's mobility smarter, safer, and more comfortable. We will work to understand all drivers and passengers to better support them. As a platform provider in the area of mobility, Pioneer will contribute to a society by providing ideal solutions to a wide range of challenges. Expect great things from Pioneer as it creates the future of mobility experiences.
Creating the future of mobility experiences. Pioneer.
Very strong messaging that I see coming off that video. And my first question, Harry, is to you: is this a glimpse for real of where Pioneer's, intent of being in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it certainly is, Ben. Pioneer is a technology company, and many people watching right now may think that Pioneer makes aftermarket car stereos. You might not understand that we've been in the OEM business in car electronics for more than 40 years, and right now we're developing technologies for for example. Autonomous driving. I'm not saying the Pioneer is going to make autonomous cars, but we make the parts that make autonomous driving cars a reality. LiDAR systems and that sort of thing that the automakers will buy and build into components of the vehicle to build that autonomous vehicle. Pioneer is absolutely integral in that process.
Not only in that process, but you're hinting on it right there. The entire OEM industry, Pioneer's heavily involved in, and needs are changing from customers, right? So
Yeah.
meeting those challenges, you kind of have to forecast what's coming from a trend perspective.
Yeah, like I said, Pioneer's been involved with the OEM industry for a very long time, and it's so much different than the aftermarket business. For example, if you work for Ford or Toyota or a major automaker like that, you're not planning later this week's production of vehicles. We're talking about vehicles that are 5 and 10 years in the future. How is it going to work? What products are going to be there, and how is Pioneer going to integrate into those products?
That video showcased, I'm going to assume, is the president, and he's talking about the future. What can we spend a little bit of time setting the stage and talk about the past for our dealers who might be tuning into this? Let's be honest, everybody knows the Pioneer brand, and if you're watching this video, you know Pioneers. What I wanted to do is maybe just take a 1-minute deep dive into the company, its history, its roots, its DNA.
All right, so Pioneer is a Japanese company. In case you don't know, we were founded in Japan in the 1930s. We just celebrated a couple of years back our 80th anniversary, but realistically, 100 years of Pioneer is not that far, and it's really in the immediate future. Pioneer started as a speaker company by creating loudspeakers, and because the founder of Pioneer was overwhelmed with the beauty of loudspeakers of that time from other manufacturers, and he knew that he could build this type of product in the Japanese marketplace and begin to sell it. Fast forward a few years to the 1970s, and Pioneer is a company selling aftermarket car stereo products in the US. And you can fast forward up to today and see a ton of innovation from Pioneer along the way.
It's really become an in-car solutions kind of company, as evident by that video, but also the fact that I kind of know what we're about to go over this this presentation. But really, to improve the in-car experience is kind of where Pioneer is all about. What I thought is a really cool takeaway from that little spiel was that it started as actually a speaker company first, and maybe that's a good segue into where we want to go.
Yeah, Pioneer started as a speaker company, and we are still one of the largest speaker companies in the world today. Pioneer designs and engineers every single part of every single speaker that we make, but it's not widely known that Pioneer manufactures parts and speaker parts and final products for many different manufacturers, not just in the car stereo business, but almost anything that has a speaker in it today. And I'm talking about, Bluetooth boxes, home speakers, car speakers, cell phones, TVs. If it's got a speaker, there's a reasonable chance that there are parts from Pioneer in that product.
See, that's an eye opener.
OEM and aftermarket as well. So we're playing in different world.
The speaker engineering behind Pioneer and built at the Tohoku factory in Japan is amazing. The techniques that are developed there, the different materials that are researched there to make better, more efficient, and better cost quality speakers, it all happens there at the Tohoku factory in Pioneer.
So the Tohoku factory is like their main facility?
Engineering. It's the engineering design facility. Manufacturing is done in other places. Pioneer is very much a global company.
Very much so. Well, I think we have a video to further describe this Tohoku factory. Let's take a look.
So Pioneer Electronics started by our founder in 1937. It started in Japan. He actually was a very passionate individual. He loved music and he loved technology, and he took it upon himself to actually create a loudspeaker built in Japan that would reproduce the same type of sound quality and performance of the products that he was buying overseas.
当時海外製のスピーカーで松本望が感動したことをより多くの人に広めたいという思いを持って彼はダイナミックスピーカーを開発いたしました。今のパイオニアの企業理念はより多くの人と感動を共有したい、分かち合いたいということがになっております。
Matsumoto-san's first business was actually a radio repair shop, where he was fixing and repairing products made by others. But in the same shop, he began creating Pioneer speakers. Really, over the history of Pioneer, we've been focused, based on Matsumoto-san's original spirit of his company, was the reproduction of music. And so we've always embraced, at one point, Pioneer, our tagline was the art of entertainment. So we've really been inspired to produce a very natural sound quality in speakers, but all of our equipment, all of our electronics, to deliver the best at the most valuable price points.
標準スピーカーのようなコモディティエリアまで全ての商品群を持っているところが私たちの強みであります。これは TAD で培った創業者の理念または哲学、それを標準スピーカーにまで落とし込む、そういうところが我々の強みでございます。
Our innovation has continued throughout almost every decade. Once we move into the car electronics, into navigation technologies and stream services connecting your car to the cloud, expanding beyond music and audio reproduction into automotive electronics, whether it was magnetic tape. In 1984, where Pioneer was the first manufacturer to actually develop a car CD player. We were the creator of the detachable face technology. So that was a security feature where in the 80s you could physically remove all of the controls from the car radio and simply put it in your pocket. Pioneer's Tohoku factory was founded in 1966, and the purpose of it really was to create a location where Pioneer could concentrate our materials research efforts, our engineering, our testing, and really the production of loudspeakers, both for manufacturing use as well as for consumer use. And that factory has continued to develop really many of Pioneer's advanced technologies, both in audio reproduction and other areas, right up until today. It really has been the heart of Pioneer's engineering for speakers. We manufacture speakers and develop speakers and research speakers for practically every product that we produce, whether that's a portable product or an automotive product or a home electronics product. It's all engineered out of that Tohoku facility.
音は聞く人に感動を与え、必要不可欠な情報を伝達する私たちにとって欠かせない存在です。
Most of the speakers that we listen to today in our products is a very old technology. It's very simple. What is unique to Pioneer and really the embodiment of the Tohoku factory is that we never stop thinking about different ways to either apply materials or mechanics or electrical engineering to the reproduction of sound through speakers, or innovating completely new technologies. So even though the basis of it may be a technology that was developed 50 years ago, Pioneer is consistently and constantly innovating and really thinking about new ways to produce sound.
この上達していくときに我々の先に何があるか、それは皆様一人一人の力が集まってなるのでありまして、しかし何も考えないところには何にもできません。会社はどんなふうになってますか、個人はどうなってますか分かりませんけれども、楽しみであります。
Wow, really cool video that demonstrates the long lineage and history that Pioneer has with its obsessive commitment to speaker development and design. So when we're talking about that, what exactly is Pioneer doing today when it comes to speaker development and design?
Well, Ben, we always researching different materials to use in speakers and different techniques to apply them and different techniques to manufacture the product. But one of the exciting new products that we've come up with is a tiny little subwoofer for small electric and hybrid vehicles. And that type of a subwoofer is something that you're going to need when you hear about automakers who are talking about bringing all electric vehicles within the next 5 to 10 years. How are we going to do that? Because amplifiers that draw 1,000 amps or something like that might not be as popular with an all electric vehicle. So how do what are you going to do about electric vehicles in the future? Pioneer's there already, and we're delivering that type of product.
Yeah, and with the facilities like what we've just experienced, everything that has to do with developing and design can be meticulously looked at. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges of car audio and how we appreciate and hear the audio in a car environment versus a home environment.
Well, in a car, you sit on one side, right? And you have a speaker right beside you here, and you have a speaker all the way across the cabin on the other side. In my home, I sit down and I sit in the middle of the two speakers. I create an equilateral triangle. I get dead in the center of it, and I get a perfect stereo image. In the car, one speaker over here, one speaker all the way over there. What do we do to make this thing correct? We need the type of speaker that can create the right sound inside the vehicle with wide disbursement. But also inside the car, you have terrible temperature changes and humidity, dust, and vibration. We have to be able to deal with environmental factors and build products that are reliable in a vehicle over time. Right? You have to build a product that'll work in Winnipeg and San Antonio. Winnipeg in the winter, San Antonio in the summer. Right?
You chose like the two most drastic examples, and that is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't adapt. I don't think that you can bring a home speakers and adapt it perfectly for car environment. So that take a lot of research to do the right speakers to fit the right needs in cars. So I think the magic word here is really research. We're doing a lot of research specifically for mobile industries.
I mean, at the end of the day, anybody who's in this game and dealers who are listening know this, right? At home, you're listening in a perfect position. As you said, the triangle, you're on axis.
Yeah.
In the car, the speakers are not positioned to you. You're automatically, as a driver, whether you're on the left-hand side or the right, depending on where you are in the world, you're off axis from the get-go.
That is correct. And so, we develop speakers at Pioneer with very wide dispersion characteristics. And with a wide dispersion characteristic like that, you can be placed in different areas of the vehicle. The speaker can be a little higher or a little lower in the door or in the dash or in the kick panel, something like that. And you still can generate that very good stereo image out in front of the listener.
Because of your pedigree and history with OE, I have to presume that quality, durability, right, and reliability are absolutely key, and that has to be from the top to the bottom, like the gentleman mentioned in the video.
Yeah, it really is, Ben. It's when you develop products for OE, you can't develop a product that's going to last for 1 year or something like that. It's going to fail. If you do, that OE doesn't want to have you back. And by the way, news travels fast in that industry. If this company doesn't want you, nor does that one, or that one. Right? So you have to build products that are going to last, and you build them to the specifications of the OEs. Now, we take the same technology that is developed for them and adapt it to our aftermarket products. For example, in speakers, Pioneer invented the 5x7 speaker invented by Pioneer a long time ago for an OE. became a 6x8 speaker invented by Pioneer for Ford products in about 1998 or something like that. So a better fit and a better product, you can get a little bit more bottom out of a 6x8 than you can a 5x7. That is directly from the OEs and developed in conjunction with them by Pioneer.
And over the years, obviously, certain technologies have come about. And I think in our next video, Robert, if you don't mind, what are we about to experience in this next video about Pioneer speaker technologies?
It's all about speakers technology, all about speaker passion. So we want to share with the people our knowledge about how we do R&D, or we do product development. What's the mindset when we do product development? So this is actually Tooku, so it's all about passion. Magic word is really passion here.
Passion it is. Here we go.
Pioneer is different from a technology perspective with regard to speakers especially. We have continued to develop and engineer technology about sound reproduction. Pioneer has invested in many different tools over our history, things such as our anechoic chamber, which is a room specifically designed to remove all reflections. So when we are testing and measuring a loudspeaker in this environment, we hear only the sound that is reproduced by the speaker itself. So it's a really accurate way to very closely monitor changes that we make when engineering a loudspeaker. We've grouped all of these test equipment and even specialized rooms together in one facility. And then reliability testing, materials testing, they all are in specialized labs. The reliability testing could be things for temperature and moisture and vibration, drop tests. Many of those different techniques that we use to really measure how a loudspeaker will perform in the real world. Throughout Pioneer's history, we have continued to evolve the loudspeaker technology that is applied, whether it's for home use, professional use, or car use. As all of those environments continue to change, we change the packaging or the materials or the way we develop loudspeakers for those environments. In this way, Pioneer has continued to invest in human resources, engineers, equipment, facilities, buildings, mostly centered around that Tohoku facility.
An example of this technology is HPT.
次の特徴として、このように駆動系から出る振動と振動系から出る余計な振動というものを打ち消すような、音楽再生以外の余計な振動を発生しないという特徴があります。HVT 方式は主に低音再生、薄型で低音再生が得意な技術でありますので、今後サブウーファーのカテゴリーとかで伸ばしていきたいと考えております。例えば厚みがこのぐらいで壁一面ぐらいの振動板を動かすというようなサブウーファーも可能になることを考えております。
Through this one facility, we've got all of these people dedicated to speaker production, all grouped in the same facility, start to finish. And it really simplifies and makes our entire organization more efficient. And we can pass that on to the consumer, both in sound quality, in reliability, and ultimately in the economies of scale of building a product that is affordable to most consumers.
That is a very cool know-how video. I guess what I'd like to see is Harry. I'll point this to Harry. Give me an example of a speaker design process when we're talking about processes.
Okay, so I want to put a speaker in, the door of this pickup truck because it's a really good selling pickup truck. Yet it's the latest model of it, and you have to be very aware of the depth of that. Of the door, the depth that you have available. Can the window come down behind that and not hit the magnet on the speaker? Yet you want to get the most cone space and the best, the most magnetic structure that you can there for the best power handling capability. So what do you do about it? At Pioneer, we research many different vehicles, and we go out into the field. We work with dealerships. We take vehicles apart. We do specific laser measurements of the doors and the cavities and the openings and so forth, and develop speakers that fit directly into this vehicle. And in many speakers, Pioneer 6.5-inch speakers and 6x9 speakers, for example, we include a bracket with those speakers that fits a ton of different vehicles. So we develop a speaker that can fit in here, and we developed a bracket to mount it into those vehicles. That's one example of what Pioneer does to make sure that speakers are going to fit directly into the modern vehicles today where you want to mount them.
Actually, those brackets help of give a better tool for the technician that will simplify his life, give him better structures for the mounting of the speakers, will also secure better sound quality because of the increased rigidity of that metal sheet in the door. So we're offering a double win solution for the technician and the customers. So better mounting, easier mounting, but also better sound quality, which is really important for the people.
Yeah, very cool. And I want to just, while we're on that topic, I'm going to go ahead and bring up this image here, and maybe Robert, you can continue speaking to it.
Yeah, actually, that bracket is the multi-fit adapter for 6.5 speakers that we have in the A series. So we have similar bracket for 6x9 as well, and they are included in the box with the speakers. No need to buy any third-party adapter. So we designed the things. We did 3D scan as well as vibration scan when we did the development of those things. So it's not just a plastic ring. We have quick tab for cutting the tab in a way to secure the best fit for the car. But we also took time in the design to make sure that ring will increase the rigidity of the mounting section, securing a rock solid structures for the speakers in a way to achieve the best performance, especially for bass, because you need to have something like it kind of dead structures in a way to have the right foundation for the speaker.
Right. It's a high density resin that reduces vibration and gives a rigid mounting structure.
Yep.
My comment to this is, the amount of knowledge and trial and error and development just to develop a ring, that does what this does. Harry, maybe you can speak to that a little bit when it comes to, all the testing and everything involved in developing something as simple as, what we see here.
Well, I kind of alluded to that before. It's about using specific measurements on that door. What do we do? But if you go out and you measure, get those laser measurements on 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 different doors, and you develop this database of information over time, now all of a sudden when you make a ring like this, we can have different break-off tabs and different mounting adapters that fit and make this one speaker, and the dealer has to carry one speaker, and it comes with the one bracket that fits in 100 or 150 different vehicles, and it's a perfect fit. It's not sort of a rattle around fit. It's a perfect fit. And that takes time to develop that sort of database and that manufacturing technique.
We're going to go to a video that I believe further illustrates what Harry is speaking to.
Select models include multi-fit adapters to ensure an easy install into applicable vehicles. Watch with us as we replace a vehicle's original equipment, or OE, door-mounted 6.5-inch speaker with a Pioneer A-Series 6.5-inch mid-bass woofer by customizing the included multi-fit installation adapter to directly install into the original speaker's location. The included Pioneer multi-fit installation adapter can be easily modified to fit a variety of different applications by simply breaking off or cutting off the easy-to-remove tabs until the shape and mounting points match the original speaker. After removing the necessary tabs, double-check your fitment by comparing the modified multi-fit adapter with the original speaker. Using the screws included with the Pioneer speakers, attach the Pioneer A-Series 6.5-inch woofer to the multi-fit adapter. Attach the speaker wires and simply mount into the factory speaker location using the original hardware.
You talk about testing to develop a product like that. Did you actually test all those models, or are we just kind of extrapolating over a small sample? Okay, these guys are laughing. I'm asking a question that's kind of redundant. Why don't you?
No, that's good because
they're actually
we did
tested.
all those tests. Go ahead.
It's actually tested. I mean, we literally have engineering groups that come to the U.S. and come to other countries and measure the car doors. They measure the holes that are there. They and make sure that the product will fit. Now, okay, so here this product was developed in 2018. In 19 and 20, there are probably some vehicles out there that may not be a perfect fit for these because they didn't exist yet. But up to that point, you have actual measurements of actual vehicles. The stuff is going to fit.
This reminds me of like the Google.
The good thing, if I can add something, is this will also simplify the dealer's inventory management, as well as possible scenarios for customers who's changing a car, because instead of building or designing a custom fit speaker that will fit only in select vehicle, we have universal speakers that will fit multiple vehicle thanks to that adapter plate. So it's really brilliant design.
The design is pretty neat. What about from a dealer's perspective, fitment guides, resources, anything of that nature?
So there's a small fitment guide that comes on the box of the thing, but on the adapters are included in the box, and there is a whole list of speakers that may fit there. Now on the USA Pioneer USA website, we have a fitment guide available there that can help you figure out those speakers. And I'm sorry, I don't know if it is on the Pioneer Canada site, Robert.
Yeah, it is. It is. You can also have the reference within the box where you can snap a quick QR code that will give you an access to a manual for specific models. So you just search for the manufacturers, the car model, and the year, and we will show you what tab to break in a way to fit properly within the car. So even without removing the door trim, you will know which tab to break in advance. So that is really, really helpful situation. Not to mention all the other things that we have on the side top of it.
I'm sure. I'm being specific because you're mentioning that you're taking so much time to test and scan all these cars. Where can are the results shown anywhere? Because I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah.
Well, those are certainly the results, but I mean that raw data is not available. That is very much proprietary Pioneer data. Okay, but can you access that information once it's been made available to you? Sure. And that is scan this to find a fitment list for different vehicles.
And where does that take us, Robert?
That will bring actually on that A series, it will bring you to a reference PDF sheet where you will have all the listed. It's an interactive PDF, so you can click on the manufacturer's, car model, year, as I mentioned. And you will have all the details how to work with the adapter plate, and it's one of the things. So we have another great tool with that. So Ari, if you can maybe talk about those scan and those process that create different type of thing for us, where we extract also nice tool for the dealers and the customers.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. We have a thing called the Sound Fit app. And the Sound Fit app works on your Android phone, on your iPhone. You scan the QR code, it'll take you right there. It's a free app from Pioneer that will simulate these speakers and how they will sound in your car. So I think it's great that you can go to you can go to car stereo dealers, and listen to the speakers, but you're listening to them in that sound room. You're not really listening to them in your car. And that's going to give you a frame of reference, and you can listen to other speakers. But you can use the Sound Fit app, and I strongly recommend to use headphones with it. You can use the Sound Fit app to simulate those speakers in your vehicle. Now, not every vehicle is available, but loads of different vehicles are. And, it's like I said, it's a simulation of that speaker in your vehicle, and you can directly compare the OE speakers to, for example, TSA series speakers or TSD series speakers or TSZ series speakers, and how they will sound inside your vehicle compared to the OEs. Then it helps, if you are looking for a little bit more bottom, maybe it's the next speaker in the lineup rather than this one. You don't want to be disappointed with what you buy, so we try to provide realistic information.
Well, let's take a look at this car Sound Fit application. Hey, pretty neat. And I imagine that is a free app, of course.
Of course, it's a free app for Android phone or for iPhone. You can play, there's demonstration music in it, but you can play any music that you have on your phone through there and do any combination of speakers and, 6.5s in the front and a particular subwoofer, or a better 6.5s in the front and a bigger sub. It's a very slick, very well thought out app.
I think that's a great tool for both dealers and for customers, and maybe a conversational piece. But you said a key word I think we need to shift to. Great job on all the full range speakers, guys. But me, I like my bass. Let's talk. Can we get into some subwoofers here?
Sure, be happy to.
What's going on in the world of subwoofers?
Well, at Pioneer, subwoofers have been a big part of our life for a long time. Everything from the Champion series to a few years back. Well, that's more than a few years back. We were competing and setting world records with more than 180 dB with the woofers. And we talked a little bit about it earlier about electric vehicles are such an important part of where we are now and where we're going in the future, especially those smaller electric vehicles, that we've developed a tiny little bass creator subwoofer that is meant specifically for electric vehicles. This is the thing here. This is called TSWX010A. You can see it's about the size of, I would say, a red brick or so, the common red brick you might build a house. There's a speaker in the bottom of it right here. It's you can compare it to about a 4x6 speaker built into the bottom, and you can see there's a grid there to hold that speaker up off the floor. It can be mounted flat like this or standing up like this, and it's meant to be put in a tiny little electric vehicle in the passenger's footwell. You put it on the floor, mounted down to the carpet on the passenger side of the vehicle, and if you can get that up close to up under the dash, the further up under the dash you can put it, what you effectively get is kind of a horn loaded effect to get some more bottom. And this is the same principle that you get if you move a subwoofer around the room in your home. If you put the subwoofer in the middle of the floor, you get a certain amount of bass. But if you take that subwoofer and you put it in the corner of your room, the next thing you know, you get much more bottom out of that. The same thing will happen if you properly mount this near a wall in the vehicle or up under that dash area. You get that horn loaded effect, and this tiny little thing will produce a little bit more bottom for you.
Oh, very, very neat. So that obviously won an award, right, at the last CES, and I think it's a great solution for some of these more electric vehicles that we all know there's like no space whatsoever to do anything in. So that size, lots of different ideas. Man, you could pretty much sneak that anywhere. You touched on the fact that you would literally in the same sentence went from setting records with dB to that little box that you just showed.
Tiny little thing.
But there is a range of subwoofers for every listener, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. We do full depth conventional subwoofers for our TSD and TSZ series, Z series subwoofers, to the flat, style of subwoofer, or the shallow mount type of subwoofer. Pioneer subwoofers are available in 2 ohm and 4 ohm, single voice coil, dual voice coil, but they are also available in pre-mounted into some boxes. And these are factory designed, factory optimized enclosures for the boxes. There's a wide variety of them. If you want to build your own box, you can do that. We offer them in the boxes as well, and a full line of self-powered subwoofers as well.
And engineering, just like the full range, significant for the subwoofers as well. Quick little video here that talks about the mechanical stress I'm going to play. I don't think there's any audio, so we're going to go ahead and maybe you can tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay, so when a speaker moves back and forth, and that's what it does, moves back and forth, there are stresses on that speaker that's going to want to make the cone bend out of its shape. Now, the computer-aided design that you see over on the right-hand side, this is the perfect design for that speaker to produce the most amount of volume or sound out of it without distortion. On the left-hand side, if we overdrive it, the cone starts to warp. And as the cone warps, we hear that as distortion in the sound. So it's a real trick in designing a speaker cone of any kind, especially a woofer cone. You want it to hold its shape, so it needs to be very rigid, yet it also needs to be very light or low in mass, because the amplifier needs to control the motion of that speaker. The more mass, when it starts to swing forward, it's going to want to stay swinging forward, or when it starts to come back, it's going to stay coming back and bottom out. You've got to be able to control the motion, not just move it, and not have it bend out of its shape.
All right. I have another photo here I want to put up. Maybe you can speak to this one as well.
Oh.
Sure. Robert was just holding up one of the TSA series subwoofers. These come in an 8, a 10, and a 12-inch variety in a flat style of a box. The 8 is the size that can slide right under the seat, right under the front seat of a ton of different vehicles. The 10s and the 12s may fit under the back seat or under the seat of a bunch of different vehicles, or maybe behind the seat of your pickup truck. And these come in powered and standalone pieces where you have to add your own amplifier. But the point is very simple. A ton of different locations where you could put these things, and they are very, very slim. That's the whole concept behind the shallow mount subwoofer. It still needs to go in an enclosure, and the enclosure needs internal volume, but that enclosure can be very slim, and you can slide it into different places.
Very, very cool. So you had brought up just before that little, I'm sorry, I don't know the model number, but the small one that was designed for that guy right there. Explain the challenges and why. I know you touched on the fact that it's for small spaces, but explain a little bit more about battery powered cars today, and the challenge. Sure. That I have an image that I can bring up for you shortly here.
Okay, so battery power cars, especially small EVs, the battery takes up a ton of space inside the vehicle. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you get into a small electric vehicle and look under the seat, what you'll see is under the front seat, and if there's a back seat in that thing, under the back seat, there's no room for anything, because all of that space is taken up by the batteries. Right? Especially the smaller the vehicle, the more battery you need, the more space you need for that battery. So if there's no room under the seat for a subwoofer, where do you put this? In these small EVs, there's no trunk at all in them either. What do you do? How are you going to get something? That's where this thing comes in. And we recommend to mount it on the passenger side in the footwell. It's very sturdy, and it will stand up to the nicks and dings that you might normally get getting in and out of a vehicle. If you bump it with your foot, you could even put your foot on it, use it as a footrest if you wanted to. It's a very firm, impact resistant design, and it draws only 4.2 amps of power.
That's what I was wondering. It's the draw.
Right. It's the draw. So you want to have some cruising range on your electric vehicle, right? And if I'm drawing 30 or 60 or 120 amps, my cruising range is going to get a lot lower. This thing weighs 3.5, a little less than 4.4 pounds, or what is it, about 1.5 kilograms. It draws 4.2 amps at 12 volts, built-in, very efficient Class D amplifier that puts out about 50 watts through what's effectively about a 4x6 speaker.
Yeah, we're not going to expect mind-blowing hair tricks bass. Let's be honest. But as an electric car owner myself, all I look at is my range, because that dictates my entire day.
But you have different type of product for different type of needs. So the needs are different. So maybe you can share with the people the next slide with the different solution on compact enclosure and solution. So just like Ari mentioned, the WXO10, which is dedicated to electric vehicle or such type of application, but we also have slim subwoofers that can fit pretty good in different type of aspect, like the F150 that we just shared with you with the preloaded box. But we also have the TSZ10 subwoofers that are IRES certified audiophile subwoofers that will go in a small enclosure that is as small as 0.6 cubic feet. So we for the bass head guy, we have a solution that will be small space as well, but we also have something for the electric car. So no matter the fit, no matter the customer needs, we have a compact subwoofer solution for sure.
Right. I just want to add to that. This thing is a really nice solution for that very small EV. But realistically, if you have enough room in your vehicle to put a bigger subwoofer, that's what you should do. This is not what you want if you were looking for some bottom, right? This will, work in that tiny little vehicle. But if you have a hybrid vehicle that you're not overly worried about your gas mileage with it, right? You can put something in that hatchback and get some real thump out of it. And if you're driving any sort of combustion engine where you don't really care about what electricity you're using, get a big amplifier and get a couple of tens and make some noise.
Yeah, you fit what you can, and Pioneer engineers products for different specialty scenarios.
That's
right?
exactly right.
We got a quick video to play. Let's go to it right now.
This is Pioneer's TSWX010A compact subwoofer. This subwoofer is designed to be very small in size, yet still offer powerful, impactful bass for high sound quality, while also offering very low power consumption. It's a perfect fit for many of today's vehicles, including electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, where space is at a premium, but low power consumption is also a very high priority. At only 9 inches in width, 4 5/8 inches deep, and 2 3/4 inches tall, this product is very, very compact. In fact, it is 48% smaller than Pioneer's next smallest powered subwoofer. The TSWX010A features a unique new subwoofer. It's rectangular in shape, 6 5/8 inches wide by 3 1/8 inches deep, featuring an aluminum diaphragm for low mass but high strength, a urethane surround, and a powerful magnetic circuit. The woofer is powered by a Class D amplifier for high efficiency and low current consumption, featuring a 160 watt maximum output and a 50 watt nominal output. This is a very big advantage, especially when compared to a traditional Class AB amplifier, because it not only is lower in power consumption, but it also is very compact in size. Pioneer TSWX010A is a unique product designed for today's vehicles as well as tomorrow's vehicles. Especially optimized for hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles, where electrical efficiency, small size, and low weight is a very high priority.
I feel like I should make mention of this very handsome gentleman doing these presentation in these videos.
That is Ted. He's Vice President of Marketing at Pioneer, and I worked with Ted for a long, long time.
He does a great job with those. Absolutely.
He does. He does okay. I do videos too. I think.
That's awesome. And I'm gonna, Harry, any last words before we transition to the next topic here, as far as loudspeakers are concerned in Pioneer?
No, what I want everybody to know is Pioneer is a speaker company. We were born as a speaker company, and we're still very proud of the speaker work that we do. You can, Pioneer speakers come in a ton of different varieties to suit all different customers and their price needs.
Very good. Time is a ticking, and we're big chickens, so we're going to go ahead and start with this intro video as we talk a little bit about amplification.
Oh, this is the better life. Oh, this is the better life. Oh, this is the better life for me and you. For me and you. I feel it on me like a coat, a bright and fuzzy face of home. I feel the light begin to flow from my head down to my toes. And oh, this is the better life. For me and you.
So clearly there's a lot of passion behind this brand. I think that's what this video emulates. Let's shift gears quickly to amplifiers. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but there's some important points I want to drive home for Pioneer. I'm don't know how to bring this up. I guess I'll just ask Harry straight up. What is this with these power rating wars these days? That it's crazy.
Right. Okay. So you know what? I have a Pioneer amplifier right here, and I'm going to hold the box up, and I think it says 1,600 watts max on it, right? So I hear this from a lot of different people. Pioneer, okay, 1,600 watts max. That's not the real power number on this amplifier, is it? No, it's not the real power number on this amp. This is the maximum power number or the peak power number. The real number on it, oops, I got that upside down. The real number on it is printed right here. This is the CTA 2006 rating, and I'll just read them to you. It is, let's see, 300 watts RMS at 4 ohms, 500 watts RMS at 2 ohms, 800 watts RMS at 1 ohm. So why don't we put that on the box? Look at that, I got it upside down again. Why don't we put that on the box instead of 1,600 watts? Well, it is on the box for anybody who wants to see it. And by the way, it's in the owner's manual for anybody who wants to see it. And you can download the owner's manual for nearly every Pioneer product right off the website. So why is 1,600 watts on the box as big as life? That's easy. Because when a largely uneducated customer goes into some big box store and he sees brand X gives him 1,000 watts for $50, 1,000 watts for $50, and he sees Pioneer gives him like 100 watts for $100, and he goes 1,000 watts for $50. That's the one I'm buying. So when you try to compete with that uneducated customer, you have to advertise against that same those brands, because otherwise in that big box store, I don't sell a single product. If you want the truth, it is there on the box. If you want to be advertised to and buy the biggest number you can buy, we got to compete that way as well. That's why it's there.
Real numbers are really CTA power rating. So you should, if you want to compare Apple with Apple, you should look at CTA power rating. That is the industry reference and standard.
That's it. And that's the CTA power ratings right there on the box. And as we said, also in the manuals on the product.
And it is, by the way, really important to match those power rating. So it's not just about saying, oh, I have a powerful amp. If your speaker can't handle it, it's not working. So you need to find a balance with all the chain that you deal with, from the source to the speakers.
All right. Guys, we only have a short amount of time left. There is one more video I want to squeeze in here, and we can definitely continue in our next session, but I want to play it so we can squeeze it into this session. Okay. And maybe, Robert, maybe just preface, what are we about to watch? It's about adjusting
we want to share
gain.
a quick, we want to share a quick video about gain setting, actually, because this is not a volume setting, and the word gain actually is bad because it's coming from the real electronic industry. So it should be a match level to match the source with the amplifier input. That is exactly what it is. It's not a volume control. So play the video. Maybe we can take a few minutes after that to chat about it.
Here is your amplifier gain settings quick start guide. Connect your oscilloscope probe to the amplifier's speaker outputs. To save your ears and your speakers, I suggest you temporarily disconnect your speakers from the amplifier at the time of testing. The next step is to set the amplifier gains all the way down and turn off all of the filters. Turn the amplifier gain control all the way counterclockwise and turn off any type of crossover or boost settings on the amplifier. Next, play the uncompressed test tone on your source. I recommend about a 50 Hz test tone for subwoofers and about a 1 kHz test tone for full range speakers. The next step is to increase the volume from the source to maximize the amplifier's output. Be sure all audio settings on your receiver are set to 0. This means the EQ, the bass boost, loudness control, and any similar settings. Set them all to 0. Set the volume to the maximum setting before having any distortion at the output of the receiver. Typical audio volume control settings for many receivers will be around 75% to 90% of maximum. You can also find that sweet spot by measuring the audio signal at the receiver's RCA outputs. Observe the oscilloscope display and slowly increase the gain sensitivity on the amplifier. The optimal setting point will be with the highest output that still shows a smooth and clean sine wave on the oscilloscope display. Flat spots at the top or bottom of the wave are bad. A wide trace at the top or the bottom of the sine wave is also bad. This is a clipped signal. As soon as the sine wave starts to show any wider point at the top or the bottom of the wave pattern, the signal's been clipped. turn the gain control back down a bit to create a smooth and even wave pattern. You want to see a clean trace for the complete wave pattern. The displayed sine wave should be as clean at the top and the bottom of the wave as it is in the transition area or in the middle of the wave.